Welcome back to Box. Today's toy, Chaos, The Dark Knight Returns. In today's video, we're going to look at a freshly released product, Chaos, The Dark Knight Vigilante, aka Batman from The Dark Knight Returns, and of course Superman. And since that I've already filmed the body articulation in my previous video, so we'll just pretty much skip it and start with the boxing. You could clearly see the interaction on the cover, so I think there will be other characters coming next. There are just so many great characters in the comics, so I can't wait for Chaos to bring them out. But we will focus on these two in today's video, so let's start with Batman. So you got one whole pack of accessories and exchangeable hands, along with two magnificent head sculpts. Also, you got a draping cape and a wired cape. And as usual, let's start with the head sculpt. We've seen a lot of great head sculpt with magnificent detail together, but this is something that really stunned me. So not only do this head sculpt have great detail, but also you could see that all the wrinkles and shadows on the faces have been enhanced using skin color paintings, and they've even pulled shadows on the neck to make it more lifelike. There are also some silver painting that has been applied to the hairs. And for the other head sculpt, this looked exactly as the way I imagined it would be in the comics. You could really feel his sheer steady will under his cowl. So the overall painting showed a half cinematic and half oil painting texture. So the whole painting was better than their previous product Superman, and you could also see that the articulation has been augmented. So you have absolutely no problem doing poses of him looking upward and downward. So it seemed to me that Chaos had found their way of making the product. So it's like a mixture of great articulation and exquisite sense. So once you get your hands on it, no matter if you are just trying to find another Batman for your collections, or if you're trying to find a playable figure that with great articulation, I think this will be a great choice for you. So if you just want to have a great The Dark Knight Returns Batman and who don't want to iron the cape yourself, you could directly put the draping effect cape on and put it directly into your cabinet along with other Batmans. And if you want to keep the wrinkles of the cape together, you could easily use some blue tack. However, for collectors who like to do posters, this figure would meet your standards with no problem. First, you remove the head sculpt, and it's time to assemble the wired cape. The whole cape shaped like a bat wing and with 8 wires embedded into it. Then it looked like he just walked out of this comics. Try to pose him with other figure stands. And now moving on to the exchangeable hands. First of all, you'll get this pair of flying hands and a grapple hand. So you can easily use him to hold the rein. And the horses I've used is from D20 Studio. And of course you get his batarang holding hands. It could hold all the batarang with no problem. So this time you will get 4 pairs of totally 8 batarangs that he's been using in the comics to fight against the Joker. Also in the scene when he's fighting Joker, you get this grapple gun he's been using when he fell out of the roller coasters. And of course you get this pair of holsters for the pistol to use, and you can easily attach it on the legs. So you get this great poster of Batman fighting Joker in the last scene. And now moving on to the Superman. It comes with 3 magnificent head sculpts. You even got a light up function. And if you compare the head sculpt of Superman with Batman, you would find an iteration on their painting techniques. And I would like to say that it is exactly this kind of iteration help them to find their own style. I really enjoy the mixture of comic and realistic. The change in their styles doesn't just stop with their hair sculpt. You could see that the wired cape of Superman is a little bit hard to install because the socket is actually beneath his suit. So if you're trying to plug it in, you do have to make sure not to break it. And also there is a little technique you can use to help the cape to fit in better. You could get a pair of these tweezers and try to slowly push the plug into it. Therefore you could easily adjust the angle a little bit. But do pay attention because the wire in the cape might be broken if you push it too hard. And after you have inserted the plug, you can try to press it along with the collarbone to the right direction you would like it to lead. So therefore the whole cape will not look stitching out. And then you get your Superman ready for some great battle posters. So quickly, let's look at the exchangeable hands. Comes first must be the Kryptonite Arrow holding hand. It is a little bit shame that it doesn't come with a special effect of the Kryptonite Arrow blasted into a fog of Kryptonite. And next you got the scraping hand. You could see that the whole texture and the painting has been greatly modified, so it could cope with the empty helmet with no problem. I love to see how this exchangeable hands fit with all these accessories. And of course there is a magnet in the helmet, so you could use it to light up the Fury head. But sadly mine has just run out of battery, so I will skip that part. And finally, of course, you get this flying hand and a pair of pushing hands. So here's everything about the Dark Knight Returns Superman and Batman by Chaos. If you like my video, do not forget to share, like, and subscribe.